Hello, I'm Edward Spalton. I'm Secretary of the Campaign for an Independent Britain, and I've been fighting to get out of what is now the EU since 1972, when they took us into what they called the common market, and we discovered that it was in fact a political organisation designed to become a United States of Europe. And at that time, it was said that people who opposed the European Union did so because they were nasty people who hated foreigners, and that's simply not true. And we went on putting our case, and very frustrating it was, because if an argument is like a battle, we were winning all the battles, but we didn't win the war. But we are getting towards a time now when we may be able to do that, when there is a referendum, possibly in 2017. And to win that referendum, people of all sorts and many different opinions have to get together and agree on a common plan so that we can be sure to beat our enemy's argument, which is that leaving the EU might endanger jobs. There are ways in which we can leave the EU, get out of the political structure and become our own country once again, and protect the trade that we have with the EU and the trade we have with the rest of the world, which we owe in part to agreements negotiated on our behalf through the EU whilst we have been members. It's not a very entirely simple job, but it can be done, and we need to get together to put this case in a positive sort of way so that people can look forward to a new and prosperous future when we also rule ourselves. We can look across the sea, for instance, to Norway, a country which is an independent country. It's able to make its own treaties with other countries, unlike ourselves, where we have to deal entirely through the EU. Norway, for instance, hauls 40 times more cod out of its fishing waters than we are allowed to take out of the waters which Mr. Heath surrendered to the EU. So Norway holds a very good a relationship with the EU, perfectly friendly and amicable, but is able to run its own show, its own social policies, and its own agricultural policies, and its own fishery policies. So we want to get to that sort of stage and to work together with others in all different parties and organisations to put a convincing story to the general public, a true story, unlike the scare stories which are being put around by our opponents.